Beautiful darlings, it is December 17th. It is my final hour of streaming in the year of 2021. And we're going to do our usual tradition of an end-of-year AMA. And for some reason, I always kind of wind up not in my own home around these times. I don't know why, but I'm hanging out with Banana Anna and some other friends. I'm in Anna's place. That's why it's a beautifully decorated room instead of a green screen. And normally what we do at the end of this little year is we just chat. We have ourselves a nice little chatteroni. We talk to each other. We ask about our feelings. I hope you've been all right. Hope you've been okay. I am as burnt out as I've ever been. I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait to just wake up and have no fucking responsibilities. Oh, what a dream come true. But all right, my eyes are open. And let's read. Harry7 Dresden says, who is your favorite Dresden Files character? Funny you should ask, Harry7 Dresden. So the Dresden Files is a book series started in the year 2000. And it is about a detective in modern-day Chicago that is also a wizard. And the author, Jim Butcher, wrote a Dresden Files novel every year for 15 years. So wrote 15 books. And then, I mean, I know that some of it was due to personal stresses. But, I mean, frankly, that amount of output is insane. So he stopped writing for about 5 years. And then, just recently, announced that not only would book 16 be coming out, but a few months later, book 17 would also drop. So it's sort of just like, oh my God, oh fuck, have I been waiting for such a long time? Then now, I get to get my fix back. But, of course, it's been a little bit of a stressful time. Pandemic, etc. So I haven't even read either of them. So what I did is I started to reread all the way back from book one, going all the way back through, and I brought the final books that I haven't finished in the Dresden Files series to catch back up. The question is, who's my favorite character? Who is my favorite character? Butters is always a good one. I don't know. I like Johnny Marconi, man. I like Johnny Marconi a lot, man. He's great. Mr. the Cat's terrific. I like a lot of the side characters. But I gotta be honest, I like the protagonist, even though the protagonist doesn't actually have exclusively great qualities. It's just fun to be in that person's head. So I think I'll say Harry Dresden. Even though he really needs to lay off a lot, I guess. Oh, Mac is great. Mac's a great character. Just so laconic. Where's Manfred? Manfred is 1 foot to the left of my camera on my main screen. On my main stream fucking setup back in Los Angeles. Yeah, I really like the Dresden Files. I'm just happy to be doing that. What a great question. There's just a lot of good characters in there. Just a lot of good characters. And it's so pulpy. It's so pulpy. I love my pulpy media. Oh, fuck. I don't really care about art. Oh my God. I don't make art. I make content. Let's go ahead and change the title to End of Year AMA. Then I'm off until January 10th. And just chatting is the category. All right. Benelo Game says, when was your mental turning point when you decided to start moving away from Starcraft as your main content creation? It definitely was never a point in time, Benelo Games, because the thing is that, like, it was kind of incidental in a lot of regards. It's a tough question because it's a very personal one too, and let me explain all of it. So, I was doing I was basically only doing Starcraft content, and doing those Starcraft shows took a fuckload of preparation. There's no other way to describe it. It just took a shitload of preparation. I'd have to like watch replays, rewatch replays, think about what I wanted to say, think about how to make a show out of the educational material, because there's a difference between here is what to do and here is something that is interesting to watch for 90 minutes. So, for instance, if I wanted to talk about build workers, that's the entire concept, okay? Never stop building workers. You see how this worker's almost completed? Should be building another worker right when that one's done. That's not 90 minutes of content. But how do I then think about how to emphasize that properly? Because my wish is for people to get better. So how do I not bullshit for 90 minutes as well? So then it's like, okay, let's look at some situations in which it's easy to get distracted, or some situations in which you will feel as though you are doing as good a job. It might not be the case, and trying to grow and grow and grow and grow that. And the only way that actually was able to occur was time. It was just time. So Fun Day Mondays would take about 6-7 hours on just the day of. And the other shows were like 3 to 5 hours for then a 90-minute show, 90-minute, 2-hour show. And that was just fucking exhausting. Like, I mean, basically all I did was wake up, watch games, pick content, pieces and ideas, and then prepare, and then I'd eat, and then I'd do a show, and then I'd play some, go to bed, repeat. If it was a weekend, I would fly somewhere and do that, and come home. And Hearthstone had come out recently, and Hearthstone was like fucking fun. I think many of you know that I have always liked card games. Like even when I was kind of a trash Magic player, I was very much so your kitchen Magic player for probably up until 2013, maybe 2011, 2012, something like that. And then Hearthstone comes along, and Hearthstone is just fucking delightful. Oh, no, I know. I played a lot in 2010, 2011. And yeah, so probably up till 2010. I was just like, would casually play, and, you know, friend would buy a box of Magic cards, and we'd like draft or something like that. But then, you know, I tried to play Magic the Gathering online, but frankly, it's kind of like playing a spreadsheet. And I love spreadsheets. I think they're amazing. Are you kidding me? I got my degree in math. How else am I going to do fucking linear programming problems outside of Excel? Like, let's be real. I love spreadsheets. But I don't love spreadsheets enough to just only play a spreadsheet. So I was like, okay. Hearthstone's out. This game's really, really, really fun. And let me tell you, dude, you feel as a creator. Who's our question asker? I'm sorry. I lost track of your name. Where is your name? Where are you? Stop running away from me. Benelo Games. There you are. Apologies. I lost track. But yeah, Benelo, I just got this point where I would like prepare for like 3 to 5 hours and then do my educational show on like a Wednesday, and then it would be like Thursday. And then I would just like open Hearthstone and play for 2 hours. And I was like, oh my God, this is so nice to just, because I mean, like, you know, there's different mixes of, there's different versions of me. I think like any person, there is like the intense, try hard, let's focus really hard and win Sean, you know, the educational speaker Sean. Then there's the absolute clown man. And Fun Day Monday was like, extremely difficult, very intense, high-class clownery. But then Hearthstone was like low, calm, hang out, chill, fun, fuck around energy. I've literally been just drinking can after can of fizzy beverages. Look, I have another one lined up. Yeah, and it started to come, and I was like, oh, well, I guess we're going to just belch. I guess that's what's going to happen. Forgive me. Let's get more bubbles in there. So sorry, everyone. Kind of. And so I think that there was this, and also I had also begun doing the Day9s Day Off content, which was every Friday I would play a non-Starcraft whatever game. The first one I did was FTL, for instance. Very fun roguelike game. And so, excuse me. Gross. So, so during that period of time, there was actually a lot of demand and want and wish from viewers for me to do something other than StarCraft. Not like, Sean, stop doing StarCraft, but, oh, hooray, you played this other game. You should play this. You should try that. Oh, he is doing that. Hooray, you know. Amnesia examples of this, Skyrim examples of this, and when I started doing the Day Off FTL and so on, so on, so on, examples of this. Same with Hearthstone. People like the Hearthstone content, etc. And there was also a sort of, it kind of felt like this opening of, holy shit, I have missed out on so much cool stuff in gaming. I think you may have heard me say in years past that the best decision I ever made as a broadcaster was starting to step into other games that were of the new game every Friday sort of variety. Not like switching from Starcraft to game X, but like the playing of a big mixture of different genres, because I just realized how much gaming I'd missed. I had never played Half-Life 2. I had never really played a single open world game outside of like Morrowind when I was a kid. I missed all these things, you know? Like, I had played Fallout 3, but like, I didn't really do more than a single weekend binge on it. And so when and weirdly, like today, for instance, I just kind of got tired of Hearthstone and I just immediately started playing Magic. And you didn't hear me go, yeah, fuck Hearthstone, the developers are fucking idiots. Bleh. No, you've heard me say like, oh, I love Hearthstone. Hearthstone's great. I just find Magic has the kind of richness and depth I want, and Hearthstone was kind of like very samey in the multiplayer. Once you've played like, you know, several thousand hours as I have, I just kind of want to do something else, and there you go. I don't have like as much issue, or I had no emotional issue being like, you know what, I'm just going to do Magic instead of Hearthstone. I just think I just kind of want to do this one instead. But with Starcraft, I felt this real, I felt kind of twisted about the whole thing, because Starcraft and RTS games, even to this day, don't feel to me like just a type of game I play. Like, I happen to play Magic. I happen to, you know, enjoy puzzle games. I enjoy these. I am someone who plays those, but I feel like I am a StarCraft player. I am an RTS player. So it almost felt like a breakup, you know? It felt like really very emotional. So I would not say that there was ever like a moment where I was just like, all right, cool, bye. Okay, Starcraft, see you later. Because like with Magic, I can kind of point to that, right? Because I'm like, hey, Magic the Gathering Arena feels pretty fun to play. Let me play some of this and some of Hearthstone. I think I'm enjoying Magic. Let's do that, right? It's just kind of simple. But you know, with Starcraft, I think that it was much more of an emotional process. Yeah. I even still feel, sorry, I forgot to breathe. I even still feel a little weird about that sometimes, you know. Because, I mean, I was so young. I was such a baby. And I didn't really know how to manage my feelings very well. I could sort of have a lot of feelings and feel like shit and still push forward, but I didn't know how to, like, de-escalate myself internally as well as I do now. That poor young Shondo. He was such a weeper. Cannon says one of my first exposures to MTG was your storytime video of playing in it at Team GP back in the day. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, where I always forgot to tap the Lobber crew. Woo! Oh, Miss Rosa Shanina says, my feelings message incoming. Just want to sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart for providing years of entertainment and joy and laughter. I've struggled with like a decade of gender dysphoria, depression, and anxiety. And your content has always given me an escape. The fun diversion your content provides always meant a lot to me, truly. Thanks, Sean. I'm so thrilled to hear that, Miss Rosa. And I want you to know you are perfect exactly the way you are. And, dude, I find a great deal of comfort in... I use the term oasis a lot. I want to provide an oasis. I like locations that are an oasis. I'm kind of like a... It's easy to be a media vor and just consume all the news and all the Twitter feeds and all the trends and just be like, ah, fuck, oh, Jesus. Oh, I have 1% battery. All right, and my phone's dead. It's very easy to get overwhelmed in that. And there's something that's like really relaxing about like tuning into a chess stream and watching someone do some analysis of a chess video, or not a chess video, of a chess game, and we're all just watching people just chatting about it. And I'm trash chess. I don't really play chess, but it's just nice. It's just really, really nice. Okay, what's this, Sean? When is the last time you watched/read Akira? I watched the anime Akira, the video on the 27th of June this year. And showed my wife it the first time. And then in terms of reading it, at the start of the year, I read the first 3 volumes. I need to read the last 4. Or excuse me, the last 3, volume 4, 5, 6. Gigi knows the date. It's because it was my birthday, Joe. Like, woo, whoa, oh my God. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. All right, where are we at? And by the way, feel free to repaste your question, because you'll note I'm looking here a lot, and the chat is here. There you are. So, Zoe says, what is the biggest sigh of relief you ever had? I can tell it's going to be in an hour. Oh, it's so good. Actually, what is the biggest relief, sigh of relief you've ever had? I've probably had some. Actually, this one. Here's a funny one, Zossie. Okay, so, do any of you remember Magic the Gathering's Secret Lair meets The Walking Dead? Who remembers this? Who remembers this, huh? This is good stuff. Let me tell you a little bit about this. So, Secret Lair meets The Walking Dead. So, Magic the Gathering created something called Secret Lair. Okay, and Secret Lair is basically these limited time cosmetic only drops. So the idea is that, you know, you can buy Magic cards and stuff like this, but people like to have different arted versions of their Magic cards. So they had a Secret Lair where you could buy it and you would get these 10 cards that looked like stained glass. So, and so, you know, you buy them and you get to see a whole bunch of, like, you get to make some cool stained glass cards in your deck, etc., 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 etc. Liney Live says I do for a Secret Lair. Oh, yes. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah, so they did something that I will say I fully recognize the alarm about. Let's just lead with that. Let's just lead with that. So Magic the Gathering was doing these limited time cosmetic drops. Now, I'm a huge fan of cosmetics in games because I like expression. I like fiddling with colors and fiddling with settings and whatever. I like the fact that the cosmetics do not impact gameplay balance, because I think there's countless games where it's like, do you want the default sword or do you want the one that costs $200 that deals 80 times as much damage? And I'm like, oh, that seems stupid. But I like the feeling of being able to have the games that I play, they make a whole bunch of cosmetics. And a lot of games I don't even really participate in it, but if I want to, I can, like, you know, spend money and make my stuff all pretty, etc., etc., etc. And as a human being, I have little collections. Notably, Sega Saturn. I'm starting to rebuild my Sega Saturn collection. So I like the idea of collectibles, things of this sort. So Magic the Gathering created this thing of Secret Lair meets The Walking Dead, which what they did is they took characters from The Walking Dead and they turned them into cards, and you could only get it in the Secret Lair drop. Excuse me. So I love The Walking Dead, mainly the comics. Like, oh, one of my first, like, I'm in love with comic book reading. Look at how incredible this shit is. So they were like, Sean, do you want to do the unboxing for Secret Lair meets The Walking Dead? I was like, fuck yeah, that's fucking incredible. Holy shit. Now, there are some concerns that people had, because people were like, wait a minute. This isn't cosmetics for cards. This is cards. And Secret Lair is a limited time thing. I think it's only for like a week or something like this. Or maybe it's like 10 days. It's like a short period of time. It's the only time you can buy the Secret Lair drops. Now, keep in mind, the question is, Sean, what's a big sigh of relief that you experienced, right? So so people were, I think rightfully so, they were concerned, because they're like, wait a minute, these are actual playable cards. Are you saying I only have 10 days to evaluate the meta of whether or not these cards will be worth it? And if I'm wrong, I'm fucked and I can never buy them again? What the fuck? Like, and I think that's reasonable. I think that's very reasonable and very fair, because, for instance, if for some reason, you know, League of Legends released a new hero named Gary, and Gary was only available on this Tuesday, then all of a sudden it's Wednesday and I'm Garyless and screwed. that's very sensible for someone to go, well, that's fucking stupid, because what if they patch Gary, or Gary suddenly becomes strong in the meta and we're all Garyless, you know? That would be devastating. So again, I think that's reasonable. And I think that some of the solutions sometimes to concerns people have about their favorite developers or their favorite game or something like this is simply expressing it very loudly, right? I think it's like that itself is a solution. And I don't mean it's like the only way to fix things, but I mean that like the fact that people are talking about it, expressing concern, I'm like, well, that's good, because Wizards is obviously paying attention, so fucking terrific, right? And I fully think it's possible that it just wouldn't matter, right? But from what's my personal opinion? Because I sort of stated how I think is reasonable. What's my personal opinion? I just thought it was cool. I was like, oh, cool. There's gonna be some cool characters and some cool cards made out of a IP that I love. Cool. And they want me to do the unboxing for it. Cool. So I was like, sure, I'll do the unboxing. I don't do unboxing videos, but they asked me to do an unboxing, and I was like, yeah, I can do that reasonably enough. And I agree. And then like a week or two passes, and suddenly the entire internet is detonating with anger over the secret layer, The Walking Dead. I mean, oh, people are fucking mad. Furious. And again, I mean, from an objective perspective, I don't think there's anything unreasonable with expressing any of that stuff. But I think you know what it can be like when there is a vortex of fury on Twitter. You look up specific hashtags, just flowing up, and I'm like, fuck, man. I just kind of want to open the thing and see if it's cool. I don't know if it's going to be a long-term problem. I don't know if it's going to be a long-term thing that's fine. There's a lot that I don't know. What do I do? Because my fucking face is going to be right on top of this secret, Walking Dead meets Secret Lair thing. And so, I mean, that gives me a lot of stress. Because, again, imagine any justifiable anger. Now imagine you have 1 million of those people that are justifiably angry. Now take the 3 people that communicate their anger in a totally inappropriate way and give those people a Twitter account. You know what I mean? It's not that their anger is unjustified. It's just that when they sit down to type it out, it's just insane. So I'm like, oh, fuck, I really don't want to deal with this. Oh, shit. But you know what? That's fine. I've dealt with that 100 times. It's not a big deal. It's going to be all right. And so, complete the video. Our editor, Ed, does an amazing job. An amazing job. And I look at Eric. Eric looks at me, and we go, whew, and we hit the upload button. And 10 minutes later, Donald Trump got COVID, and no one was fucking talking about Secret Lair meets Walking Dead anymore. Woo! Fuck yeah! Cleared. Are you kidding me, man? It was perfect. I was just like, oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is such a relief. What a blessing. What a blessing. That's incredible. Oh, what a weight off my back. Yeah, see, Justin says scripted lament. I literally was typing to Eric. I was like, I actually am like way too lucky. This is the luckiest thing I've ever heard. This is unbelievable. Yeah, so forgot the origin of the question. Yeah, it's the biggest sigh of relief I ever had. Because again, I want to stress the difference between like disagreement and intensity. Like, for instance, if someone was like, Sean, you know, do you think it would be really fun to participate in an Among Us tournament with a whole bunch of people? Yeah, I do think that would be fun, but that's also a lot of intensity because I have to do a lot of talking, I have to do a lot of lying. I don't really like doing that. But Among Us is pretty fun, so, you know, I don't know, maybe it'd be fun. But I don't know, maybe I just don't want the intensity at that point in time. You know, I just don't want the intensity of all the negativity around it on that day. And again, not the negativity, but again, like the 10 people that will express their justifiable anger unreasonably. And it was just like, whoo, So that's the answer to that. Isn't that a good story? Patted it a little bit because I'm tired, but, you know. I just remember seeing that and being like, holy shit, I'm so lucky. Powerful Quacklord says, what is your key to happiness in marriage? The key. These 3 secrets. Well, as it turns out, it's MSG. I don't fucking know, man. I think the best way I can communicate about it is, for me and Britt at least, it's recognizing that the success is not an accident. It's something that's created. It's not like I am this way and Britt's this way and we happen to meld in a way that works great and there you go. And that's, we found each other, and all that happened was the finding, and then just we shrugged our shoulders and made intuitive decisions, and there you go. There's plenty of frictions that have existed, but it's sort of like she and I get together and we lay bricks together. We lay brick, lay brick, lay brick, lay brick, lay brick, lay brick, lay brick. And, you know, it's kind of like getting 6-pack abs, which I definitely don't fucking have. If you just do crunches every single day, and you stop eating so goddamn many donuts, you'll probably get a 6-pack, you know? And with Britt and I, the fact that she dedicates a lot of effort and time, and I dedicate a lot of effort and time, gives me an incredible sense of... It's like when you know something, you know? Like when you know it, you know what I mean? It's like when you rewatch your favorite movie and you're like, I know this will feel pretty good to rewatch. And you rewatch it, you just fucking know. You know, like one of those, will the sun rise tomorrow? If I order something from Amazon, will it arrive? You know, if I go to play this game, will I have fun, right? There's these things that, like, these are terrible fucking examples. Let me try this again. It's like, hey, if a baby sat down to play Starcraft against you, would you beat that baby? And I'm like, fucking annihilate the baby. I would fucking slay this baby, man. I would snap that baby like a baby carrot. I know this. And someone's like, well, isn't it possible that if you, like, hit the buttons correctly? No, it's not fucking possible. It's like, just literally not. It's like not possible. Is it the same thing with, like, my wife, where it's like, is there any possibility that you each individually would not dedicate the time to overcome issues in your relationship? And I'm like, no. I don't know. It's like, I know. And the same way that I would destroy that baby. There's your analogy right there. There's your comparison. But again, I think that outside of the baby destruction comparisons, it's the knowledge that someone is spending the time. It's not some accident. It is effort. Effort, 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 effort. Yeah. Lots of effort. I mean, I've been with Britt for almost 10 years, but I've only been married once. So who fucking knows if I know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? Maybe in 2 years, I'm like, listen, Britt and I have been talking, and it turns out it's not effort. It's actually me doing the dishes. I haven't been doing them lately, and it turns out it fixed a lot. You know, it's really great. It's terrific. All right. Okay, good. Let's get some AMA. I'm a Day 9 AMA. Again, I know many of you have typed questions, but right now everyone's typing LeMayo. What the fuck is Sean talking about? That's really good. That's like really good. Bootleg Furiosa says, what are your favorite tropes? Oh, I know. Oh, I know. I think maybe my favorite trope in all of media is the dark power that's hard to control. Oh, I'm fucking in love with this shit. I love anytime there's just like, Damon is possessed with the Lord of Hell. Damon, you need to do the right thing. And Damon's like, I don't know if I'm powerful enough. I'm like, fucking hang in there, Damon, but use it. Use the power, Damon. I mean, that's what was so fucking cool about Akira. With Tetsuo Oshima. struggling to contain this growing power inside of him. I fucking love that shit. And there's a Dan, have you seen Vincenzo on Netflix? I watched 15 minutes of it when I was having a hard day, but as it turned out, Amathera was too tired. Because I watched all those fields get burned, and then two men stared at each other while one of the men, obviously the hotter man, the protagonist, said something cruel to the uglier man. And I was just like, I don't fucking know, man. I'm tired. I can't pay attention to this shit. And then I turned it off. But I want to get back and do that. I want to get back and do that shit. Jillock says, are you taking any other fun trips during your break? I don't find most trips to be fun at all, Jillock. My life is so much intensity that my idea of a good time is something that involves laying there. And just being spoon-fed dumplings. I just put the dumplings in my mouth. I'm like, oh, I love that so much. And I don't need to travel for that shit. I don't need to travel for that shit, you know? Yeah. Hey, Day9, try dog sledding. I normally could be clever right now, Business Raven, but for some reason I just want to be like, I don't want to go dog sledding. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. So I think, yeah, no, I'm still thinking about the tropes. I think that the dark power that's hard to control is like fucking tight. I love this fucking ring. It's so tight. It's so good. Ghost Darker says, from Paw Cakes, who's fucking banned, what is your favorite K-drama? I think my favorite K-drama, I haven't seen it in a while, but It's Okay, That's Love is one that I always think is very, very good. What's Wrong with Secretary Kim is very, very good. Cunning Single Lady holds a special place in my heart because it's the very first one that I watched with my wife. And we watched that and we're like, oh, this shit slaps. This is good. We're only going to watch these things now. And then we like, oh my God. I mean, I actually want to watch Korean dramas probably like 5 times as much as Britt does. I like get done with my show. I'm like, honey, do you want to watch romance? And she's like, but I'll have to read. And I just got done with my work day too. I don't want to fucking like pay attention and read. I want to be able to like zone out and look around and stuff. Not me. I'm laser focused on that stuff. Night Appy. Or maybe it's Night Appa. Night Appa says, I discovered you earlier this year and was instantly hooked on your massive charisma. Oh. It's only because I haven't been working out. Instantly hooked on your massive charisma and charm, and the therapy TED Talk has stuck with me to this day. I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for creating such delightful content no matter what game you play. Oh my God, thank you, Night Appy. Oh my God, thank you. Oh my God. It's really nice. Oh my God, did you see his charisma? Oh, so big. Oh, his charisma is massive. Right now, Knight's watching. It's like, what the fuck happened to this guy? And I'm just like, oh, he just said my charisma was so big. It was huge. Oh my God, his charisma's so sick. Oh. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for it. Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. This is good. This is getting uploaded to YouTube, man. Oh, this is gonna get uploaded to YouTube. Chad charisma. I don't know if I'm a Chad charisma. I'm a little too soft for a Chad. Lead Tracker. Lead Tracker of Lead Games. Lead Tracker, wait a minute. Lead Tracker just gifted 5 subs, but Lead Tracker, don't you have a game on Steam? Don't you have a game on Steam? Let me just, I feel like I'm taking a guess in the dark, which I'm not because I'm lying and I'm actually trying to get it open on my screen right now. Oh, you want me to put in my password? I'm not going to type my password when I'm on air. Oh shit, this is terrible. Never mind, I'm not going to show it on stream. But Revisitor. Oh, actually, I can show it in browser. Okay, copy link address. Thank you, Ghosty. Lead Tracker just gifted 5 subs and has released this free fucking game on Steam called Revisitor. It's a puzzle game. We actually got the chance to play it in its development. It's beautiful. It's a puzzle game. about motion teleportation and puzzle problem solving. There it is. Is that you, Lead Tracker? Is that you? I mean, I know it is, but I'm still asking. Is your ring tattooed? Yes, I have a ring tattoo. Because I tried getting rings on. Tried getting rings, like, measured, but I don't know. I just don't like how it feels. Ugh, I don't like how it fucking feels when I have a weighty ring. So I just got it tattooed. Because I don't do this marriage shit half speed. I get that shit. I got it singed on me. They took a cattle prod and like right there on the finger. It was incredible. Cabbage Stealer asks an interesting question. Said, how do you make hard decisions? Like course of your life hard? I mean, can you give me maybe some concrete examples, Cabbage Stealer? Because obviously it depends a little bit. Depends a little bit. That's so good. Oh, yeah. Powerful Quack Lord. Let me come to that question after I come to this one. How does one make hard decisions? Dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-doo. I think one of the things that I don't find... Like, so let me take something that is a certain type of hard, which is like, hey, Sean, if you wanted to buy a house, how do you choose how to do that? That feels like a lot of work. And, I mean, I feel like I need to dedicate... If it was like, Sean, you need to buy a house. As soon as you can. I would probably, like, take 2 weeks off and focus exclusively on it. Remove other distractions to just focus on that. And if I were not in that state, I would just keep on paying rent in an apartment. Like, there's things like that that are like effortful, you know, that requires you to just focus and grind and grind and grind and grind on it. If it's like, oh my God, should I become a doctor? Or should I become a painter? You know, shit like that. I think the biggest reassurance I have in situations like that is that I don't think that there's any path that you can go down that actually deletes the other path. Because, like, if I... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can get this on. Oh, that's good. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I think that, like, when it comes to, for instance, streaming, Sean, if you went down streaming, what about another path that you couldn't go down? I mean, I kind of have found that anything I've ever wanted to do, I can step into and step out of a lot more easily than I thought I could. So over time, this has kind of given me the perspective that, like, it's about making any choice and just committing to it more so than finding the right choice. Because Cabbage Stealer says, like, what discipline to focus on in postgraduate education, or what companies offer to accept, or should you move in with this roommate? Yeah, I mean, I'm the sort of person who does some due diligence, but then more so just commits to it. Like, I did math, and then I wasn't sure if I wanted to pursue math in grad school or go more down the artsy-fartsy route and do interactive media. So I applied to half and half. And then I got into the USC Games program, and I was like, all right, cool, let's do this. And I went hard on that game shit. And I mean, there's times when I'm like, man, maybe I should have gone down into math. But I don't know. I think that, like, finding more things that interest me, as long as I'm pursuing one of them, I feel great. I don't know. I feel... It's hard to make bad decisions in life. If you are committing to it and doing it earnestly and sort of just trying to make your day-to-day satisfying. Like, if I studied economics versus math versus physics versus whatever, if I'm devoting time to it, putting in energy, finding what interests me in it, and pushing in that direction, I would have enjoyed all of those things. The reason any field is a field is because it's interesting. It's just about pushing hard into it and finding. So I kind of tend to have the philosophy of, if I put a lot of work into it first, the second thing that should happen is my interest and my passion and what I find compelling about it. I think it's complete and utter total bullshit that your passion comes first. I got into streaming because I was passionate about streaming. I was not fucking passionate about this shit at all. I shrugged my way into this fucking stuff. I wasn't just like, I want to be on a stage. You know what? I've been doing this for, this is my 13th year. I don't really want to be on like TV or be famous or be any of this. I like the numbers. Like, Sean, numbers are going up. Oh, there's like 10,000 people watching. How do you feel? I feel nothing. I like the act of communicating and talking and having a dialogue and going deep on a piece of content. You know, I think it's interesting to pick a game and stream it for 6 hours and talk about it for 6 hours, because I think it's interesting to do. And if I didn't do that as a stream, I would want to find a friend that I could sit down and play a game with for 6 hours and talk about it and stuff like that. So it's an outlet in that regard, but it's completely false that I was passionate about being an influencer, which is a term that doesn't describe what I do, but instead describes my value to a business. Don't use the term influencer, by the way. It's a negative term. It's derogatory. Yeah, I wasn't just like, oh, I'll be an influencer. Oh, I can't wait to do it. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, I just like started to do streaming and then tried hard to make it good and was compelled by the act of trying to make something good. And then probably like a year or two in, I was like, I think I'm actually passionate about this. But it didn't come first. It didn't come first at all. Yeah, I believe that I personally, and I claim YouTube, can become passionate about anything if you just put enough time, enough effort, enough work into it. Magic Turtle 1313. Oh wait, I would come to your question, but I promised. I made a promise. Where are you? Where is this one question? Lead Tracker, thanks for the 5 gifties. Oh my god, there's someone whose name was in green. Had some P's in it, I think. Where are you? There you are, Powerful Quacklord. It says, you mentioned you have a lot better control of yourself than before. How did you get that mastery? 2 things. I expose myself to a lot of really high intensity things, and I'm pretty comfortable just eating shit. But 2 is just therapy, man. You should go to a therapist, and the therapist tells you what to do. Therapist helps you through it, helps you think through. Not necessarily like the answer, but what is like your answer, you know? And also there's those times where, you know, I would talk to a therapist and I'd be like, oh my God, I was so frustrated because this person demanded this from me. Oh, and it was so hard to actually like make it happen. It was so unfair and unreasonable of them. And they were just like, well, you can say no. You can say, no, I don't want to do that. And I was like, well, I don't know if that's necessarily fair, et cetera, you know. And through talking to my therapist in that particular instance, you know, there was something that I had a lot in my career where I felt like I was never allowed to put my feelings in front of someone else's feelings. Like there would be times when I would stay late to talk to a group of fans. And I like doing that. I genuinely like doing that. But what if I'm really tired? Do I like not talk to them? Am I allowed to not talk to them in that sort of way, you know? And that's like a small example of being able to identify, wow, I've worked a 16-hour day and I should go to bed. But there would be something in me to be like, you can't do it. You can't do it. No, Todd, like these people, like they waited a long time for you too. So you have to do it. And the way my therapist phrased that is, it's fine if you want to choose to stay late after you've had a 16-hour workday. But what matters is that it is a choice. That's the thing that matters. Not that what's the right decision there. It's the fact that it's a choice as opposed to you feeling forced to do it one way or the other. And that's like one small example of like maybe 100 examples I could point to where there's situations where I would feel compelled to do one thing and I would not feel like I actually had a choice in there. So, yeah. Now, Nin Muffin, I have to take this question. It says, what are your thoughts on the uprise in Vtubers in the streaming space? And you wrote Tubber instead of Tuber. I got you, Nin Muffin. Yeah. Well, I think as as a chunky boy, I think that the tubbers are. It's very important to create a lot of space for Vtubers. They're just so big. I love this voice. This is like one of my favorite. Oh, Vtubers. They have such massive charisma. Oh my god. Their charismas are huge. Oh. Yeah, would you do me a favor and rig and animate this tubber? I haven't. It's not me. It's my persona. It's so big. I think it's great. I think, of course, the greatest VTuber is Shindigs, who's been making just the most cursed VTubers I've ever seen. But yeah, I mean, I don't have too strong of an opinion about it, to be honest. I think it's just like an interesting form of media that is so abstract that if you told someone in the 1880s what a VTuber was, they would literally go insane. Because you'd have to first explain the notion of the internet, right? You have to first explain the notion of the sum of all human knowledge being collated in one place that doesn't actually help anyone. It just reveals how dumb everyone is. And then after that, you'd have to explain the idea of anime, which, I mean, that's just good luck with that shit. You'd have to explain what anime is after explaining the internet to someone. And then what you'd have to do is explain the idea of broadcasting yourself live via what's called a monitor. At which point, you're not you. You are an anime character that you have rigged and animated. Those are also two concepts you're going to need to communicate in order to pretend to be an anime cat girl on the sum of all human knowledge, broadcasting yourself doing what? Playing a visual novel. So I really think that it's a very abstract form of communication, but I don't know, it seems pretty cool. It seems pretty cool. I think it's good. It's content. It's content. It's pretty good. It's content, right? There it is. Luch Lab says, oh no, I've gone insane from this exploration. What would my VTuber be? It would have to be something that just looks like an ugly mutant. I just, you know, I have a friend who tweeted once about, like, my first character in D&D was, she's a magical princess who's good at everything. And it's like, my last D&D character, it's like, oh, I'm just going to fucking look this one up. What is this? Where is it? Where's this tweet? I gotta read the tweet. Oh yeah, there it is. Playing Dungeons & Dragons at 16. This is my elf princess, Litria. She was raised in the circus and is perfect at everything. Playing D&D at 29. This is my dumpster gremlin who eats rocks and refuses to tell people her name. She has no combat abilities and talks to skunks. That's like so good. It's so fucking good. Yeah, no, I would want a VTuber like that. I would want an absolute rock eating, like, just blob, like a frog that, like, is so obese it can't hop anymore. Like, that's what I would be. It'd be so good. Phosphorus says, what do you miss the most about Oakland? Probably Riva Cucina. It's a really good restaurant. You should get their passatelli and get the they have a cherry it's like a cherry brandy. It's fucking good, man. Fuck. Oh my god, fuck, it's so fucking good. Oh, their passatelli is so sick. Oh. Oh, gotta get a... I would order double servings of passatelli and go home just huge. Phoebius says, oh, Phoebius, what a treat to see you. Says, I would just like to say thank you for a great year of content that you provide the community. You all showcased the game Dyson Sphere program. You convinced me to get the game. I did and lost 6 months of my soul to that game. Thank you. Great game. You should give it another go. It is really nice. I think I'm a little bit in love with Factorio. I think Factorio is one of the most brilliant games ever made, because I think it was like the first automation game, right? The first notable big one. I think so. Do you still play Factorio? Occasionally. Well, you're streaming mainly AoE. Before we play MTGA at some point again. Yeah. Chad Brohan, I will probably switch back to Magic the Gathering in the new year. I'm starting to sort of crest past my peak of interest in AoE 4. Excuse me. Magic Turtle says, hey, Sean, do you think the near-term trajectory of RTS, either esports or custom content communities, is going to be driven by AoE 4, pending possible disruptions by the new release like Company Heroes 3, etc., etc., etc.? Starcraft 2, I think, was very unusual. Well, Starcraft and Starcraft 2 are very... God, how do I describe this? Okay, so first of all, let's think about the Starcraft community. Let's think about Starcraft. So, Starcraft, until Starcraft Remastered came out, so until 2017, Starcraft 1 was, like, hard to play. And I don't mean, like, as a game. I mean, like, as a piece of software to install that would not fuck shit up. Like, the way that connecting to someone to play worked in StarCraft 1 was you would literally peer-to-peer connect, which is basically, like, banned as fuck in modern protocols, because connecting to someone's computer with your computer is, like, the biggest security risk ever. And that's how StarCraft 1 was played. So it was incredibly hard to just install the game without having colors being fucked up, without having the connections constantly dropping or massive lag or just literally being unable to log online. And so I think that there is this collection of games that didn't ever really get a chance to step into the modern internet era. I think fighting games has also had a sort of similar trajectory to RTS games in that regard too, because a lot of these fighting games didn't really have internet connections at all with them. I mean, rollback netcode is pretty new. Even though the concept's pretty old, the implementation of it is pretty new. And for any of you that are unfamiliar with what I mean, it's that in if you want to play a fighting game, you want to have instant reactivity, as close to instant as you can. And when I say you want to have it, what I mean is that if you measure, like, if I hit move right in a fighting game and my character takes a little bit of time and then moves right, what is the maximum amount of time before it feels bad? In RTS games, that's actually close to half a second. Most people don't really mind if they select their units click. If the click animation happens instantly and the audio plays instantly, and then within half a second the units have rotated and then begun to move, it's fine if the actual gameplay is taking quite a lot of time to occur, as long as there's these instant feedback types of things in an RTS. The Madab says half a second? No way. Yep. And when I say most people, I mean, Madab, if you have played an RTS online and tried to control stuff, I'm not saying that you should be fine with half a second. I mean, where do people start to really go, wow, this is laggy as shit? Like, if you sat someone down to play an RTS game who was not really an experienced player, and they like clicked and they moved and they clicked here and they moved and they were just playing, how long does it have to be before they start going, the delay seems weird? Now, in fighting games, that amount of time is like 4 frames, and that's stretching it a lot. So rollback netcode is the idea of if you are, well, I'll just speak very conceptually instead of actually going into it really specifically. But the idea of rollback is that things respond instantly on my screen. And if for some reason it turns out that, oh, I jumped on my screen, but no, actually, according to the clock, I punched you in the face before you jumped, what will happen is it will roll back in time to when I would have jumped, and I will instead get punched in the face. So on my screen, I will see the jump happen. Whoops, rolled back, punch in the face, push back. So it's sort of like constantly pulling back, and rewinding. So like fighting games, did not have the ability to even play online, to play and to develop the sort of density of communities. And I feel like RTS games outside of Starcraft 2, which I'll come back to in a moment, games like Age of Empires 2, games like Starcraft 1, a lot of these classic RTS games just did not have any of the modern community building functionalities that you would see in pretty much every modern game. And so Starcraft 2 was unusual in that it was actually had all these modern things. It had matchmaking. It had the ability to host events, to et cetera, et cetera. And the game was really, 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 really good. When Age of Empires 4 came out, Age of Empires 4, you may have heard me say, Magic Turtle, that people are like, is this going to be the start of the esports scene and RTS? And I'm like, we got to wait to see how the game plays out over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. But also, that game just has an astounding number of UI, UX bugs, feel bad things like this, that I didn't initially mean that at the time, but I now would fold that into, yeah, I mean, unless the stuff gets cleaned up, you know, I don't want to use the term low quality, but for a blanket statement, it's like, hey, fighting games, there's this new, or fighting game players, this new fighting game coming up. It's getting a lot of marketing. Is this going to be the future of esports for fighting games? And the fighting game players are like, let me play it for 15 minutes and I'll tell you. And if they play it and it's like janky and there's like a quarter second of delay in the controls, they're just like, all right, well, I guess that's fucking that, you know, I guess we're not, you know, I don't know, like, there's a lot of issues in Age of Empires 4's hitboxes and stuff like this, and so I can speak very present tense about Age of Empires 4 and say I'm still unsure about the long-term depth. There's some dominant strategies coming out. I'm curious what they will play out as. It certainly has a lot of depth to make sure that I have a fuckload of fun playing it. But for how long? But for how long? But for how long? But for how long? You know, who knows? Who knows? So when you ask me about, hey, what about RTS with the future of these games? The one thing that RTS has that lots of other game communities don't have is a shit load of history. The ability to talk about what players did in this game, what players did in that game. We already see this in AoE 4. Oh, we have Grubby playing, who's one of the greatest gamers of all time and one of the winningest players in Warcraft 3 and was a top Starcraft 2 player. And he did this and this and this at this point in his career. And, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, and here we have an Age of Empires 4 player. We have the Viper, who's like considered generally the greatest Age of Empires 2 player, and recently, won Wololo 5 and all this stuff. You have this sort of built-in history, but it still needs a game that is two things. One, has the richness and depth and complexity and awesomeness and coolness to keep those tip-top lifelong RTS players happy. But two, the game needs to be sweet, like rad. You know, like someone who doesn't play these games watches and goes, oh, that shit's fucking cool. What is that thing? Guilty Gear Strive, I feel like, is a really great example of a game that, like, I love watching fighting games, but I'm horrible. And I watch Strive sometimes. And I'm like, this just looks so cool. You know, when you hit and the letters are so big. When you combo, the whole screen is the letters. That's fucking cool. That's fun. And I think it's such a mistake to be like, we are going to make something that is so rich and deep and amazing as a fighting game. But you see, we have this special way in which mix-ups and switch-ups get phased into our, unique Esper system and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, dude, is it sweet? No? Well, then I don't give a shit what the fuck your game does. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is a long way of saying, who knows? I think that it's abundantly clear that there's fun things to do in RTS games. There's fun you get in RTS games that you can't get anywhere else. So, how do you assemble it in a way that's, you know, pleases the veterans, excites the new folk? I don't want to say excites the new folks, but it excites this basic part in me. Like, for instance, Age of Empires 4, when I first played, I didn't know any of the high-level strategy. I didn't know any of the complexity of different build orders because I hadn't played the game. No one had played the fucking game. But it sure was fun to get sheep, and it sure was fun to make a base, and it sure was fun to get those bombard cannons that were so fucking loud I just laughed really hard the first time I shot with them. It was really fun to do like 15 things in the game, in like the first game that I played of Age of Empires 4, and I was like, ooh, oh. You know what I mean? Something else is Day9. How do you feel about the trend in the gaming industry to constantly create the next big esports game? I'm going to rephrase your question slightly, which is there seems to be some regularity of some developers talking about like, oh yeah, we're trying to esports this bitch up, right? And I think that it's sometimes it's fine, but I mean, it's the kind of thing that I no longer believe anyone when they say it. You know what I mean? It feels like a thing that people just say sometimes. I remember talking to someone who was working on, they were working on some prototype, and they're like, Day9, we want you to check out our prototype. We're looking to see if this would be something you'd be interested in playing. And I looked at it, and I played it, and it was janky. And I said, okay, let me evaluate this in two different ways. First, I understand that your game is in development, so I'm going to give my first development comments. I see potential. I see like possibilities, and here's the things that that excite me about imagining where this could go. Let me also give you feedback as though this is a completed game. And we all know it's not a completed game, but I want you to know this game is a 1 out of 10. It's really janky. It does not play well. It, you know, there's this bug and this issue and this problem and this problem. And the reason I started to do this, the reason I started to give game feedback as potential versus as product, because a lot of people give feedback as potential. Oh, I see it's going to go in this direction, it's going to this direction. And they lose sight of how it is right now, because it's easy to get used to the various idiosyncrasies of your own product. You know, oh, no, you have to hit F5 to open the shop in this game. Yeah, it's not listed anywhere. We should have to know that. But I was just like, oh, yeah, no, this is really, really very janky. Like, it stutters when I hit these two buttons together. The inputs drop on all of them. The frame rate's really bad. And I'm sure you know all of this. And again, I say this as a reassuring kind of thing. But I was saying that, and I was like, yeah, so I think that, like, there's a lot of really just basic wins that you can get by cleaning a lot of this stuff up. You know, I just always feel a little obligated to say how it is, because there's been games that I've seen that have been like, Sean, what do you think? And I'm like, ooh, this is janky. And they're like, it's releasing in 2 months. And I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. But I remember talking to someone who was like, well, we have someone who's just going to apply a lot of the core principles that help make things in esports to this game. And I remember thinking, like, what the fuck does that mean? That doesn't mean anything at all. You mean you're going to make it good and rich? You're just going to whip up goodness and richness? What does that mean? You're just going to apply principles to make it esports. So I think that there's a lot of executive types that just kind of appropriate the words and they just spout them out. And I think now a lot of that has bled into blockchain and VR and mobile and, you know, a million and one things. And again, these words exist independently of someone trying to use them to sound like they know what they're talking about. But I think that if you were to say, okay, Sean, what does an esport need? I'm going to say the first thing that for some reason is not the first thing that most people say. You know what the first thing every esport needs to be an esport? The game needs to be fucking fun. And it needs to make you go, oh, cool. Like Dark Souls. Do you realize Dark Souls has fucking dragons in it, like immediately? Like, it's a hard game that forces you to learn the systems. Yeah, but there's also a fucking dragon, like, immediately. And dragons are cool. You know, like, if you're making an esport game, like, okay, is your game fun? Well, we think that this game has the richness and depth that can keep players entertained for blah, blah, blah. No. Are the first 10 minutes fun for an idiot? Like, if I sit down and I'm an idiot, like, What's fun about this? Well, there's various counters, a lot of counterplay that exists. I don't care about counterplay. Like in Overwatch, when you play as Reinhardt and you walk forward, it feels fun. You know what I mean? Like, and when I swing my hammer, it's just gung, gung. And then when you charge, you go and you crush someone. Left One says, that is the most Mark Rosewater thing I've ever heard Sean say. Here's the thing, Left Ones. It is the essence of making a game good. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know, like, what happened where people forgot that the reason that you do things in games is to make them fun. Let me talk a little bit about one of the shittiest games ever made. Turok 2. Okay? Turok 2... Turok 2 was a game that had a render distance of 1 meter. It was a game that had wildly unbalanced maps. It was a game whose weapons were fun. There was a weapon called the Cerebral Bore. And if you aim at someone and you click the button, it goes bzzz, and it drills their brain out and they die. You can't dodge it. The only thing you can do is hide from the Cerebral Bore holder and shoot them before they Cerebral Bore you. And that's the game. Cerebral Bore, is it fair? Is it reasonable? It's fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's the sort of thing that, no, it will not get you to hour 500. You will not play 500 hours of Turok 2 and be like, oh my gosh, there's so much complexity to the Cerebral Bore. But you will play, and 3 seconds in, someone's like, aim that at anyone and click on them. And then it goes, and it just kills them, and you go like, and it created fun. Oh my god, it did the thing that games try so hard to do. Make the game fun, make the game fun, make the game fun. So I don't know. I think that it's like Mark Rosewater stresses it because Mark Rosewater has successfully led Magic the Gathering for like, God, fucking almost 30 years. It's been like 24 years or whatever of just being good, just being like a good dev that like every set they're like, but is it fun? How do we make the mechanic fun? Is the resonance fun? And all this sort of stuff. And Left One says, oh, I know that making a game fun is fucking the most important thing. It's just cool to see different designers saying the same thing. Well, for one, I appreciate you calling me a designer. I like to consider myself a man with just massive charisma, and that's it. But my charisma is just so big. Oh my god. It's very kind of you to say that. But yeah, no, I mean like, yeah, I mean the fucking, oh god, you make your game fun, make the game fun. Is it fun? All that matters is that it's fun. And it's one of these things that like I think is like quite off-putting to hear initially. So I have my good friend Tristan has gotten the chance to do like writing mentorship work with just like amazing writers like Brandon Sanderson and David Wolverton and etc. And of course, etc. And I mean, just like the way that these authors like will talk about stories and plot points and things, and I mean, it's just like there's a real like fundamental plainness to just like, oh yeah, no, just it needs to be cool. Why is that cool? Why is that? You know? Why is this character interesting? What makes someone like this character? Like Brandon Sanderson has like lectures about this where he just talks about like, here are things that make a character likable, and you want your reader to like your characters. And it's like so simple. Right? It's like so simple. It's like, oh, your main character, I'm going to be hanging out with them the whole time. Why would I like them? Well, the character has a really complex backstory and, you know, is very interesting motivations for why they want to do this and this. But yeah, but why do I like him? Right? It's like so simple. It's like, why do I like him? Why do I like him? Why do I like him? Thanks, Uber Pudge. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, Brandon Sanderson is just a fucking animal of a human being. He's incredible. So I think about this a lot because I remember, God, I made so many fucking prototypes in grad school and even afterwards where I was like, check out this system that I made. Oh, check out this really cool, this is a really interesting board game that will mimic the economy. And it accurately follows all these different types of stock trends, and there's a random deck that shuffles. It also sort of matches with how things, and people would like play it and be like, this isn't fucking fun. And I'd be like, but do you recognize that it matches the behavior of the stock market accurately from 1970 to 2002? And everyone would be like, I don't care, it's boring. And I'd be like, oh, but you have to understand that there's so many choices and there's a branching decision tree. Jesus. It fucking sucked dicks. Mr. Mustang says board games are so fun. I'm talking about a board game I made, Mr. Mustang, and it was so bad. I challenge that statement. I am capable of making a shitty board game. Having my professors be like, but yeah, Sean, why is it fun? And I'd be like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. He's Seth the Grace says your voice has gotten much lower over the years. No, I think I've just gotten different microphones. I've just gotten different microphones. My voice is pretty low. I had a microphone that didn't pick up any of the low notes. Then I currently have one that does, but I filter out the low notes, and this one, it just has the full-on low notes in there. So this is more so what I sound like, so. Oh yeah, let's take this question from Morniel. Morniel, I hope you're good. Drink water, Morniel, you fancy, beautiful man. By the way, did you know our resident Morniel is working on a game called Outbreak? It's spelled O-U-T-B-R-K, so that way you only need to know 2 vowels. Outbreak. It's a storm-chasing game that uses real-life weather simulation data to create storms in the game that you get to storm chase. It's incredible what Morniel and Mr. Remiard has done. It's just beautiful. So everyone should check that out. They had a Kickstarter that we plugged several times. So that's the most important plug. Oh yeah, look at that. It's on Steam Powered. Look, Ghost Stalker. He's plugging that shit. Plug it harder. Oh, give it a big plug. So Morniel asks a question. All right, everyone, get ready. Get ready to shitpost. Sean, I'm late to the AMA. But I have one question that is a bit controversial right now. What do you think of NFTs? In fact, 2-part question. What do you think about the technology? And, and what do you think about the application of NFTs in games? Okay. Allow me to take a sip of alcohol. I mean, my opinion is not actually that complicated, but being a content creator, we're going to take 3 minutes of content. We're going to grow it into like an hour and a half. So, let me try to summarize as best as I can. Let me go against a lifetime of habit and try to just be brief. I personally am pretty down with it. That was too vague. I personally am pretty like, about it. Like, I haven't seen anything that makes me be like, fuck yeah. I've mostly seen things that make me go, Jesus. 2, I'll talk a little bit about why, broadly speaking, I'm pretty neutral towards mediums, platforms, techs. And 3rd, I will try to make some devil's advocate arguments for it, but I'll still come back to why I feel pretty blah about it. So, those are sort of like my 3 feelings about it. So, God, how do I even fucking talk about this? First of all, what is an NFT? The simple way I'm going to... Okay, let me actually explain this in phases. I actually can't do this piecemeal. We got to just go it. We just got to go in for it. We got to go for it, you know? So first of all, a lot of the technology around blockchain. Let's ignore a big elephant in the room. What about the environmental and energy cost? I'm going to ignore that. Now, for any of you that step in and are like, no, but it's so big. I didn't say you're wrong. I didn't say we should. I just said, let's do that. Right? It's kind of like if I said, hey, what's your dream home? Assume cost is not an issue. You're like, but Sean, cost is an issue. I don't have a job, right? Like, I fucking know, right? Like, I know, right? So I'm just going to first go ignore the environmental things, and I'm going to selectively say several times, ignore this, ignore this, ignore this, ignore this. Let's assume we ignore this. Let's assume we ignore this. You know what I mean? Let's just assume it. Let's just assume it. So let's talk about something that already exists, which is digital uniqueness. Oh. If you won the Rocket League Championship, you are allowed to get a banner that says RLCS Season 5 Champion. Oh, the winner. And the people who won, only 3 people get that. Only 3 people get that. Isn't that cool? Oh my God, look at his banner name. He was a champion. It says so right there. Ooh. Or, you know, you have your idea of, oh, I have my Path of Exile character and I have a suit of armor and I have this suit of armor. And it has a random roll that has these properties and it's this item and et cetera, et cetera. So, so someone said, hey, wouldn't it be cool? But you know, someone said, okay, well, hey, man, there's a bit of an issue with this, which is that, like, if Path of Exile shuts down, armor's gone. Ooh. If Psionics shuts down, how will I ever have my banner that says RLCS Season 5 Champion? So, the blockchain / NFT things, as far as I understand, an interesting aspect for them is that it's a way to have a digitally unique object floating around separate from any specific company. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So wouldn't it be cool, for instance, and by the way, notice how I'm stating these. Remember how I led? I'm pretty down on these things. I'm pretty just like, I am trying to restate some concepts. I'm trying to state some concepts. So before any of you start to get all crazy and start to be like, it's the future / it's ruining the world. Just hold on for a minute, okay? Because this is my channel. This is an AMA. This is about me. The monument to vanity, okay? Let's just keep things focused on me for now, okay? So someone says, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a way to have this digital thing external to Psionics, this RLCS Season 5 Champion? I could, like, move that around however I wanted to. And it's a digital thing. It doesn't make sense to exist in the physical world. It's a digital thing. Wouldn't this be cool to move this around? Hold on, everyone. Just hold on. Everyone, hold on. You know what I mean? And so, what is a location where a lot of people care about digital things? Games. Wouldn't it be interesting if you got a suit of armor in Path of Exile that was verifiably a unique armor that no one else in the entire world owned? And we could confirm this. And let's assume that this was not even on the Grinding Gear Games servers. This was on the blockchain. It was on a decentralized, away from everything location fucking thing, and that suit of armor could be there. So if all of a sudden I wanted to trade it as the owner, I wanted to do something with it, I could have that. Okay. And wouldn't it be cool if World of Warcraft accepted that particular item and you could, like, load it into that game and you could, like, move it around? Ooh. I hear a lot of, like, sort of, there's a lot of hand-wavy sort of sensations about, like, oh, there will be ways in which you will own a thing digitally that you can plug in to various platforms. And the platforms have a function when you plug the thing into it, but they don't own these external things. So let me use a really clear example. There is a way to take an image and run it through an algorithm that will produce a number. And the number will always be unique and the same. So if you put that image through this algorithm and it always just produced the same number again and again and again, you'd say we're looking at the pixels of the same thing. If you changed one pixel, it would produce a different number. So what does this mean? We can take in this image, we can produce a number, and we always know that this image will produce the same number and it's a unique number. Isn't that cool? Why? Well, because if your pal Sean Day9 Plot owns an NFT of that image, owns the image, what is a cool thing that could happen from this? Well, if I went to Twitter and said, I want to make my Twitter profile this very cool image. It's of an obese frog. And only I own this image. How would Twitter verify this? Well, they would take the image, they would run it through that same algorithm that produces a number. They would see that Sean owns the image that produces this number. And now no one is allowed to use the same image. No one can use it because your pal Day9 owns that obese frog. Isn't that nice? Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Now, if someone were to right-click, save the file, as a devious right-clicker would, if they try to upload that image, again, you can take that image, put it through the same algorithm. It'll produce the same number. And then Twitter could say, you know what? We are only going to allow Day9 to use this image. And there it is. And then maybe Facebook says, oh my God, we're going to do the same thing. Because Sean can verify that he owns this fucking thing, an NFT's fucking this NFT thing. We're also going to say, if he puts this image on our website, he's the only person who's allowed to do that because he owns this thing. And then the same thing occurs for, what's another social media platform? I don't know, Reddit and Twitch and whatever. So, what did I just describe, even though I was kind of laughing a little bit? Okay. The cool thing is that there's this thing that's external from these platforms, and they choose to do something with that ownership. And if enough sites are doing this in a patterned fashion, suddenly this external thing, this image, has value because the other platforms all do an interesting similar thing with it. So this is the thing that, as far as I can understand, that this is like an example of this. And I mean, the problem comes for me, I'm like a really pragmatic person. And I just don't really see how this, blockchain stuff is needed for this. I don't understand how NFT stuff is needed for any of this. I just don't understand the need. I don't understand the need. But again, there's something that's really interesting to me about the idea of digital uniqueness, about a way, like, isn't that interesting that you can literally have a function to show this, that this person owns this thing? Isn't that cool? I guess, but I mean, again, very pragmatically, it's hard for me to see like a utility where I'm like, wow, that is fucking awesome. Like, for instance, I remember when Steam was first a thing. Steam was this, oh, you have all your games stored in the cloud, and wherever you are, you can download it. Steam will handle it. It'll deliver it to you. It'll be great. And there were people that were just like, dude, but I can just own the CDs in my home, and I can just like load it without being connected to the internet. Isn't that better? And it's like, well, what if you were traveling? What if you lost a CD? What if there are all these other situations? And I mean, it's like so basic, right? Like, oh yeah, what if I lose my Starcraft Brood War CD? Oh, I have to buy another one. So, yeah, so there's something that's interesting to me intellectually about this, hey, it's owned sort of thing. I struggle trying to figure out the really pragmatic, like basic use case. Just really dead basic use cases for it that make me be like, oh yeah, that's awesome. And I am open to the idea of people exploring this and making things around it. So your question, Morniel, was like, Sean, what do you think about NFTs in games? I think it's a little bit bullshit when a game starts to describe itself as play to earn. Right? Like, I think that play to earn is the idea that you buy a character for $10, you play with it, it grows in power because it's a unique thing that can be traded. You grow it a lot and you can sell it to someone for $40. So actually, as you were playing, you were earning, etc. Because plenty of people make money on games. But the idea of calling it categorically play to earn just feels a little dishonest. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I mean, again, I've given kind of a bastardized explanation anyways. I don't like a lot of the notion behind it, because, like, why would you? I don't know, man. I'm willing to be open to it, but I'm probably going to steer pretty clear from this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, there's another aspect with games that I really struggle with when it comes to NFT things, which is most games, like take Ubisoft, that did an NFT thingy recently, where they were like, we're going to sell NFTs. Ubisoft still has to assert IP ownership rights over the image, over its usage, all this stuff. Just because you own the NFT for this thing, we still own all the stuff. If there was a character, let's call him Day9. If there was a Day9 character and you own the NFT to Day9, I would be like, as the developer, I want you to know we own every single usage, image, likeness of Day9 in perpetuity forever. And I remember reading something that like really resonated, which is like NFTs are a technology, but a lot of what they're brushing against is legal. Not as in what NFTs are doing are illegal. None of that at all is what I'm trying to say. Instead, what I'm trying to say is, legally speaking, the company owns the IP. The existence of a technology does not change that today. Today, it doesn't change that. So it, like, I think a useful way for me to describe it is if in a year someone was like, Sean, here's a use for NFTs that can only be done with NFTs and is really cool. That would be awesome if that thing's, oh my God, it'd be terrific. That'd be great. I'm not ready to just condemn an exploration. I will say, though, that I've never seen a technology more streamlined for scamming people in my life. Oh, I know so many people that have lost so much money because they got scammed like crazy. Who knows someone who's been scammed out of their money with NFTs, man? Right here. Woo! Raise your hand. Boy, do I know a lot of people that have gotten fucking owned, man. They've gotten oh, scams were so big. Space Ghost is not NFTs, but altcoins. Ooh, me too, baby. Oh, me too. Shit. Yeah, so I mean, I think that that's something that I recognize creates a personal bias, because if I see personal friends that have lost a ton of money on crypto and lost a ton of money on NFTs, and they claim to have been scammed, or they start running scams themselves, right? That leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But that bad taste is completely independent of, is this thing good? Because I know plenty of people that, like, you know, you pick any game that's interesting. I know people that have burned their life only playing that game and ignoring all their responsibilities. I would not call that the game's fault. I would fault the person some, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that it seems really, really streamlined for it. Is that plant on the bookshelf real? I don't know. It's not my room. Let's take 3 more questions. It's 6:02. And there's a party happening downstairs. A Christmas party. I suspect there'll be something interesting that comes out of that in the future with the NFT stuff, but today I don't really have any desire to, nor do I see any reason to participate in it. Oh, another thing I'll say is that NFTs, I've never seen a technology easier to make fun of. It's so easy to make fun of it. Making fun of something is not truth, but it is fun. It's so good. It's so good. The comic books of someone at a fancy dinner, and they're like, yes, the bill will be $850. And they hand them a shitty image of a dog and go, I think this will cover it. So fucking good. Oh, shit. It's so good. Primitive Trap says, back when you were first discussing the vision that later became the disturbance of Day Night TV Town, I had thought you were saying that the game would be played in chat. As in, while you were playing games like Magic, you would start up a bot in chat that asked people to chat and sign up. Once signups were full, the game would start to take place entirely in chat. Is this all possible, even in a limited way? I mean, in a simple sense, Primitive Traps, yeah. I mean, it's code. Everything's possible. But for us from the start, we envisioned it as a sort of like live content. Like you're here, you're playing, it's going all the time while Sean's on the camera and you're making choices and yada, 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 yada. Let's see here. Let's go to Everything's Possible. Cerebral says, Sean's kind of setting us programmers up for a real fall there. Of course. Of course. Sean says, Dan, if you don't mind talking about what happened to the RTS you were working on a couple years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's actually quite simple. I was working on the development side, and all of a sudden I was told the company was not getting more funding. And that was that. And I remember being like, oh, so devastated at the time. And then learned that this happens all the time in gaming. And, you know, sucks, but, you know, it's all right. White Chair 38 says, would you ever play Dota 2 with chat? Oh, yeah. We have. Oh, yeah. I actually haven't played Dota 2 on air in a while, have I? I've been playing a lot off air. Wait, have I? When's the last time I played on it? It's weird, because a game I play every week. I need to do some Dota streams again. I need to do some Dota streams again. That's what I think. That's what I think. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. White Cherry says, get me in your stack. Well, hey, if you are playing regularly on the Day9 TV Discord, I occasionally pop in there and go, hey, guys. Yeah, I'm still playing Dota 2. Treant Protector has been my recent love. I think almost all my recent games have been a Treant Protector. Let's see, 605. I'll stop at 610. Ooh, Tron Carter SC2 has been asking this for a little bit, and I keep missing it, saying, do you have any strategies for managing expectations when it comes to relationships? You know, I think the most important thing, if you're participating in any relationship, is to think about how you would be totally okay if everything went wrong. I shouldn't say went wrong. Went wrong is a stupid term for it. How do you be okay if this relationship ended? Because if you know how to take care of yourself in that case, you're going to be fine. You know, I used to like, you know, I think like any young person would be like a young man, be like, oh, let me say this and that and that and this, and then, oh, she has that as an interest. What if I get interested in that? Oh my gosh, how do I show her that I'm actually now genuinely interested in the thing that she was interested in? You know, fucking, it would be like, how do I make the thing happen? As opposed to like, if it doesn't happen, that's fine. How do I take care of myself? And so, I think this leads to a lot of stability. Because, like, let's imagine that you did what I did. Oh, you figured out how to say the right thing, do the right thing, and now you're in a relationship. Well, 2 months will pass. And then you'll probably hit, I don't want to call it a fight, but maybe a rough spot, a point of friction, something like this, and you'll be like, oh my God, I don't know about this. Or maybe they are like, I don't know about this, and you are oblivious to it. And maybe that's the case, and all of a sudden they start drawing away from you and things aren't feeling good. If you don't have a sense of like how to make yourself feel fine if this ends, who you are independent of the relationship, oh my God. I mean, there'd be times when I was a kid when I would just be like, oh fuck, oh God, I start to like melt down. Or I remember like, if I break up with them first, they can't break up with me. Well, they're clearly not telling me something. I should just break up with them. It's sort of terrible. You know, it's just dumb things like this. And so I think that like when it's about managing expectations, my instinct is to say like managing expectations doesn't matter. Because managing expectations, in my eyes, is like, well, let's just assume it doesn't work out and that'll be fine, you know. No, if I'm in a relationship, I'm all in, man. I'm not going to fucking... Well, I'm dating you for now, but I don't know. No, I'd be shitty to them, right? I want to be like all in and focused and dedicated to this thing. But if it goes south and it ends, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, I'm sad, but that's okay. It's okay. It's going to be okay. So I think that's managing expectations shouldn't be with respect to that person or with respect to the relationship. It should be with respect to you, making sure that you're taking care of you. You know. Yeah, that's what I think. That's my answer to that one. Oh my God, Ruffle Cop says, what meal are you most looking forward to eating over the holidays? Could be Xmas food or any cheat day. Rufflecopter. Every day this break is going to be a goddamn cheat day. The meal I'm looking forward to most, waking up at a weird time, like 4:30 in the morning, because I'd been pushing my sleep schedule so much that I've woken up at a time that's pre-breakfast. Immediately getting a beer from the fridge and eating an entire Chipotle burrito. Just horking that shit. Oh my God. Going out, getting a sugar plum cheese Danish, eating it slowly, exhaling after every bite. Oh my God. Going and getting a bottle of soju and a waffle with fried chicken on top. Put like a thin glaze of sour cream, some buffalo dip on there. Drinking that soju with that chicken and waffle. Yeah. Perhaps I'll get a beignet. A delicious, puffy, soft, quickly fried dough with sugar on the outside with some sort of jam. Maybe an apple jam. Maybe apple butter jam. I'm going to eat that shit. For dinner, I'm going to order kitpho. It's raw beef with clarified butter, and crushed bird's eye peppers, and cumin and garlic, and lots of salt. I get a spongy bread called injera alongside that kitpho. It's lightly lemony. It's thin. You don't even get a utensil. You just grab the kitpho and you dab it in the meat to spice. Oh, eat that shit. Oh, fuck yeah. Then I'll probably go to a Korean barbecue. Haejangcheon on 6th and Serrano, the best Korean barbecue in Los Angeles. I'll get some marinated chicken, some kimchi, dip that marinated chicken in samjang. It's a spicy bean dip. It's so fucking good. I'll drink soju there as well. Fish cakes, some mashed potatoes with fruit in it. Oh, Jesus. Plays says, why is this strangely erotic? Why am I liking it? Dude, I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat. So you're going to see me and I am going to be a snowman. So good. Oh, my God. Oh. You've been to Bulgogi Hut in K-Town? I don't know what that is, Chad Brohan. The next one I want to go to is Chosungalbi. It's going to be good. All right, it's 6:11 from heaven. I'm going to leave in seconds. Ask me the most important thing. You haven't thought about Path of Exile much, Left ones. I've had too many fun games on my plate right now. Oh, dude, yeah, no, Zeph, it feels so good to play an RTS because I actually know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't feel like I'm trying to catch up with something. I feel like my intuition is just like ahead of where my experience in the game is, which is great. Ambush in the Dark says, what is your opinion on League of Legends esports? Oh, it's so good. Oh, they've done such a fucking good job. Jesus. I mean, I certainly think the best in the industry by a considerable margin. Fuck, they're so good. Oh my God. Oh my God. And it's all connected together. I mean, I think this thing is God tier. It's incredible. I think their commentators are extraordinary. They're able to like track so many fucking things and speak so clearly, and the action's happening so quickly, and they're just navigating it well, and the production is extraordinary. I think that the sets and the production design is incredible. I just think it's amazing, and the fact that they have this beautiful arc that builds up every year. I mean, I think it's terrific. I mean, I happen not to play League. I happen to play Dota, but I mean, I just think as a product, it's just incredible. I just think it's fucking amazing. I think they've done an incredible job. A+ out of 10, I'd give it. I give them the coveted Day 9 no prize. Walking Fridge is 89. If you didn't go the content creator route, what sort of developer would you have been professionally? Oh, game dev, of course. Well, I mean, technically I do that anyways. Even though you bastards didn't successfully defeat the disturbance in Day9 TV Town when I was telling you what to do. Oh my God, what is the matter with you people? All right, one final question. Is Disturbance on next year? Maybe, Zossie. I mean, there's a lot of content that none of you saw. Bakatux is non-dad tips for a soon-to-be dad. I will say, nothing replaces time spent, Bako Taco. Set aside that time. Set aside a lot of time. Just killing time. Kill time with your kids, man. Kill time with the kiddos. Nothing replaces time spent. All right, last question. It has to be a really stupid question. I'm not going to go on a serious question. Give me the dumbest fucking question you have. And then I'm going to hang up on you beauty babies, and I'm going to go party. Give me your stupid questions. Oh my god, that click is incredible. Hold on. Oh. All right. All right. No, not a question that doesn't have an answer. I mean, a stupid question. It needs to be really stupid. Let's see. No, not like, why is the sky blue? It's not a question. Because it's just like, it's a non-question. All these, none of these are good. All right. Oh, this is a great question from Pafafawaf. How does a dog know to like bones? For some reason, that is the stupid that I'm looking for. I have no idea, but my dog knows exactly what to do with a bone. She sees bones and she grabs it and she marches off. That's why we call her old Bone Eyes. She just fucking loves bones. Evolution is insane. It's fucking insane. Oh, actually, I'm going to answer this as the last question. D-Shed says, favorite StarCraft voice line? Britt. Oh, sorry. There's a reflection. I'm turning it off right now. Do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hello. Happy holidays.
That's my wife. That's my wife. All right, I'm gonna go. The question was my favorite StarCraft voice line. It is a good day to die. Okay. Love you, everyone. See you next year. See you on the 10th of January. Bye, bye, bye. Goodbye.